Okay, this Modulo chapter is not a controversial one. People generally love it, but I've found it to be somewhat controversial. So what I'm going to do this week is a bit different. I'm going to sit here, I'm going to tell you my interpretation of the chapter, and then I'm just going to go recommend that you watch my hour-and-a-half long rant on stream about this chapter yesterday if you feel like you want me to elaborate further on my points. I'm not going to get into it too much now, because otherwise the video is going to be way too long. But like, if you want a full detailed breakdown, like a proper in-depth, like kind of picking my brain about this chapter, go check out the stream from the other day, because it has all of it there. But yeah, this is just the way I see it. So we get a bonus page. Also, the color spread is beautiful. We get a bonus page at the beginning of Mino calling people up looking for Yuji. He calls up this girl. We don't really know who she is. And she's sat right next to Yuji and basically just denies knowing where he is, right? And then she goes, oh, you could ask Todo. Mino's like, I don't know where he is either, which is like, dope, because Todo's alive. Hell yeah. I don't ever see that man dying, to be honest. I reckon he's probably gonna live forever, but Mino sees Yuji at Todori. Yuji's like, crap, I've been caught. And then Osuke, the alien, jumps out with a giant battle axe, slams it down. Yuji catches it using the Sukuna chainsaw kind of pseudo-infinity dismantle method, where he covers his hand in dismantles. Pardon me. Covers his hand in dismantles and catches it. He then hits him with a black flash, casual black flash, right? And he's like, you seem pretty sturdy, you'll probably survive this. He gets knocked out cold, blasted across the street, which implies Yuji can black flash at will. This makes him insanely strong, and for whatever reason, insanely, like, beyond anyone we've seen so far with the cursed energy control. However, I don't like it. I don't like that he can do this. I think it's boring. And I also think it doesn't make sense because Gojo said previously that cursed energy control and like eliminating the lag between cursed energy and your fist isn't the only factor in Black Flash. The reason it's random is because there are factors involved in it that are out of your control, such as like potentially temperature or like air currents or whatever he says. Basically, Gojo sits there with his six eyes and says if it was just about eliminating the lag between cursed energy and impact, he would be able to Black Flash it well, and he doesn't. So, you know, if it's just explained as Yuji's cursed energy control is that good that he can eliminate the lag, I don't think that makes a lot of sense. If there's a good reason given, I'm all for it. But either way, I think it's boring. Does it make him unbelievably skilled and strong, and is that a feat beyond both Gojo and Sukuna? Yes, absolutely. That's a top one kind of jujutsu skill feat right there. But I still don't like it. Yuta could Black Flash it well. We all know I love Yuta. I'd still say it's shit. I don't like it. It's boring. And then he just poisons Mino for the hell of it, which is like, okay, cool. He's trying to be fair, you know, he wants to be even and take out the aliens and the humans, even though he seems to have spared this angry grade 1 girl who, for whatever reason, just is fine and knows exactly about all the details of how long the sickness from the poison in Yuji's blood is gonna last, which has got some people speculating that he's Yuji's grandchild, but I think from the way she was talking about, you know, what she would do in a situation fighting Dora, you know, earlier on she says, oh, I'd probably have to run away or just off myself. She ain't related to Yuji, bro. We know who she's related to if she's talking like that, but yeah. Mino then rightfully crashes out at Yuji being like, Yuka is fighting your fucking battle right now. What the hell? Why are you only showing up now? And then Yuji says, I don't care. I don't care about being Yuji Itadori anymore. Now, obviously, what's actually happening here is Mino is moving like everyone else in old JJK, and Yuji is moving like Gojo. So it's like, in everyone else's mind, it's, Yuji, what are you doing, man? You're the strongest. It's your responsibility. You clean it up. Do it all by yourself. Now, obviously, I'd be hypocritical if I said Yuji was actually a dick for doing this, and Mino was in the right, because realistically, like, the same applies to Gojo. It's the isolation, right? It's the way that they're treated as a weapon. They're only now looking for Yuji when they need him to fight someone strong for them, and they're crashing out that he's not doing it. But Yuji just straight up, I don't care. I'm not on that. I don't want to do that, right? I don't care about being Yuji Itadori anymore. I don't want to be that guy. I've had my run. It was good. Now everyone I know is dying off, and I'm still stuck here alive, like, in isolation. I don't want to do it anymore. He's valid. That's his choice. Like, it is completely valid. I think that I don't care is a bit harsh because it implies that he doesn't care that, you know, one of his best mates' grandkids are gonna die in these battles. It's kind of like a bit heartless, whereas Gojo, even though he doesn't like being treated as a weapon and wish that wasn't the case, he still like shows compassion and does care for these kids, especially the youth, which is his whole thing, like save and protect and nurture the youth any way he can. I feel like the actual choice of dialogue in the I don't care is a bit too harsh for my liking. But that's probably like a translation thing or something. The point is the themes are really nice and it ties back into that final chapter of JJK really well. He even kind of looks like Gojo a bit. I don't know how to explain it, but like he does kind of look like Gojo. But then he says to himself, that's the right choice, isn't it, Sensei? On the one hand, yeah. On the other hand, no. I don't know what this means, to be honest. It's like, I don't know if he's asking, should I let Mahoraga and Dora fight because Dora is like, you know, being taught kind of he's like, being kind of saved in the moment from his isolation because he's fighting an opponent that is actually pushing him. So I don't know whether like leaving them to fight is the right choice for that reason, or if Yuji saying that him not getting involved for the sake of himself and not wanting to be Yuji Itadori anymore is the right choice. It's unclear what he means by this, to me at least. But again, it's kind of a bit more complicated than people are making it out to be. You can see both sides of it, but overall I think Yuji is completely justified for not wanting to get involved. He is just here to clear up the cursed spirits that are running away from Dora, which I'll get into in a second. And then Dora does the craziest thing in the... I'm done glazing this guy. Like, he's so unbelievably good. Dora is like a different level. I'm honestly at the point where I'm now questioning if he is potentially already over Sukuna without even needing a domain. He might actually just not need a domain because he has not only worked out how RCT works from scratch, which no other character has done. Every other character that pulls it off in the heat of the moment at least has an understanding of how it works. Like, they at least know positive energy exists and that you multiply negative energy against itself. This guy didn't have a clue. He just felt something weird coming from Mahoraga's blade at the beginning of the fight and somehow managed in that same moment to heal his leg. That's ridiculous. Now immediately, he's poured it into his technique and achieved Curse Technique Reversal, which will work on Mahoraga because it's shown by Gojo that Mahoraga doesn't adapt to cursed energy or techniques, he adapts to attacks, right? As long as the attack is different, so as long as it's the reversal of the light technique, it will damage him and he'll have to start adaptation from scratch for the darkness ability that Dora is showing. It's an insane feat, but if Dora just takes out Mahoraga, which he doesn't do in this chapter, by the way, I was mistaken in my leaks review. We don't see it happen yet. Dora and Mahoraga are still fighting right now. If he does take out Mahoraga, Yuka just dies off screen, and I don't see that happening, so I don't know. But either way, this feat is insane. Dora has this moment, which a lot of people look past, where he goes, I can't let him adapt to this, I need to finish him instantly. And then he kind of opens his eyes, like, questioningly, and is like, so what now? Like, what do I do with this, you know? Which makes me think it's not going to be as simple as, like, a massive, powerful force. Maybe its purpose isn't even to damage people. It's hard to tell, because what is the reverse of killing intent? Maybe it's, like, a really strong sort of, like, revival ability, or, like, healing ability, I don't know. It might not be a damaging ability at all. Who knows? Anyway, Dora's moving different. He might even be stronger than Yuji. I don't know. We don't know realistically who's got a clue at this point. Maru and Surika keep fighting. Maru's technique is like just so broken. It's to the point where he's using the vines to create a layer of trees in the sky as a battleground that they're standing on, which is upside down and above the city. So they're like in the sky, like standing upside down with the city below them. And then Tsurugi pulls out bloody soul split katana from his shadows, which obviously Tsurugi, from what we see later on, likely can't perceive the soul yet, so it's just being used as a normal blade. It's very clear, but again, leaks made this dodgy. And it got people being stubborn, and it got people making their mind up about what happened, even though TCB makes it very clear what's actually going on here. He pulls out the sword, yeah, and then charges up an attack, and Maru literally says, where is he aiming? Which is strongly implying he's not aiming at me. What is he aiming at? What does Maru do? He then immediately turns behind him to see what Tsurugi is aiming at, which is an army of like literally thousands upon thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, of cursed spirits that are above the city. They are flying well and truly above the city. I'll show you the panel. They're flying above the city and heading towards them. Yuji, like, looks like he's kind of maybe side on from the curses. I don't know. But he goes, oh, well, there's a lot more than they probably expected, but it's fine, I'll help take care of them, right? And then we get a literal side-by-side panel of Yuji doing dismantle and the Tsurugi Rika doing a charge-up swing, right? Side-by-side panels with motion lines from Tsurugi showing movement, and then we see two slashes. One of the slashes hits the curses directly in the face, and these are the curses that were facing Maru and Tsurugi, which are not facing the same direction as Yuji. It hits them right in the face, alright? And then the other slice goes above the buildings and hits the curses, and with every curse it takes out, it causes, like, each curse to erupt in a pile of, like, blood and guts and cursed energy, right? Kind of like in the JJK anime, when Yuji punches the curse and it sort of erupts. It's like that, but you can see it on the page. It's going above the buildings, and it's causing all the cursed spirits to erupt. And then we get these two massive side-by-side eruptions at once to show, and these are really far apart. You don't understand it, but like someone calculated it, and Sukuna's domain range caused an explosion, which was like genuinely probably less than a tenth of one of these explosions. It was like genuinely less than 10%. This is a massive level, and they're both pretty relative blasts. Which is where things started getting dodgy. It's where things started getting dodgy in the community because people were agendering the fuck up, and I'm not a big fan, but I'll get to that in a second. People ask, oh, if Tsurugi sent one of the slashes with Rika, why did he end up back in this position? Bruv, they're back on Earth. They're like, in that time that we see them off screen, he slashes, and then they literally fall back down into the city because they're not in the sky anymore. What's stopping Tsurugi from just charging up his attack again? People are like, oh, but he's in the same stance. What the hell? That means he can't have swung. Yes, it can. It just means he did it. They fell back down, and then he got back into the stance. And what does he do? Immediately goes to attack Maru. And it was too shallow because Rika's 5-minute timer was up. At least that's what I'm assuming. We don't actually know why Rika disappears here. Some people think it's because of a binding vow, like it was part of the plan. Some people think it's 5 minutes. I think it's 5 minutes because Rika should still work the same way. I don't see why she would work any differently. He activated the ring, Rika comes out, 5-minute timer. I'm just saying, that makes complete sense, right? You get access to the arsenal, 5 minutes. So it's because, and then it seems like he awakens a full heavenly restriction and just blatantly blitzes Maru and seems like he kills him off screen. Now I'm sure there's some twist here, but that's what it looks like happened. Anyway, as for the controversial bit, so that clears up the issue of him being in the same stance. He did swing. It's very obvious because of how far apart... Hi, this is Editor Allons here. So basically I did exactly what I said I wasn't going to do and just started crashing out and over-explaining stuff. So I'm gonna just end the video here without, elaborating any further. If you do want to know what I was gonna say, or like you want to know my actual in-depth thoughts about the Yuji and Tsurugi moment particularly, then go check out the VOD from the stream the other day. But also I'll be making a video on it on the main channel in the next few days. So yeah, I decided putting that whole rant session on here was not gonna achieve anything productive.